tonight on the Final Play.
Oh, and it's blocked. The Saints have blocked it and taken it in for the touchdown.
Tampa Bay provided minimal opposition most of the day as the black and gold make it 6 wins in a row.
Listen, we're not ready to just send him to the Hall of Fame right yet, all right?
We've got reaction from the team and analysis from Jim Henderson.
High fives everywhere, smiles everywhere. Sean's into it. As you said, the fans are into it.
Plus,
we're coming. We're coming.
What to make of LSU's valiant effort to end Alabama's dominance as the Tigers look to finish the season strong.
We ain't backing down.
And we've got everything you need to know about the upcoming high school playoffs as we take a closer look at the top contending teams. And the Pelicans are back to winning, but can they keep it going on the road?
From Fox 8 Sports, this is the Final Play, sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealer, built Ford tough, and Nissan.
Welcome into the Final Play. I'm Juan Kincaid, and if you weren't a believer before, how about now? The Saints are streaking, and it's there for the entire Who Dat Nation and the rest of the NFL to see. 6 straight wins. They've done that 3 times before, and all 3 seasons they made the playoffs. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's put a bow on today's beatdown of the Bucs. Sean Vazan gets us started tonight.
When the Saints and Bucs met in the Superdome on Sunday, it was supposed to be an NFC South showdown where they threw the records out the window. Well, it ended up being a rout. The Saints on top 30-10 in the game wasn't as close as the final score indicated. Now they've won 6 straight and sit at 6-2.
Divisional wins are great. Obviously, those are very important. But I think each week it's we really just try to look at it as it's a faceless opponent. It's we're still striving to play our best game, and I don't think we've achieved that yet.
True, it may not have been perfect, but it was dominant. In this contest, the Saints didn't trail at any point. Special teams got things going early when Justin Hardy pulled a hat trick by blocking a punt, recovering the ball, and scoring the touchdown.
Well, they blocked down the wrong way, left me free, and it was just, I just seen a clear path, and I was so surprised that it was so clear.
Offensively, the Saints were once again balanced. They threw it 27 times and ran it 32 times. Drew Brees was efficient, going 22 of 27 with 263 yards and 2 touchdowns.
A lot of time, he wants it all. Throwing deep down the middle to a wide-open receiver, and it is going to be a touchdown.
But Sunday's hot hand belonged to Alvin Kamara, who once again proved wise beyond his years. He finished with 16 touches for 152 total yards and 2 touchdowns. His first one was simply a thing of beauty when he took a screen pass 33 yards and spun off a would-be tackler en route to the end zone.
And the O-line did a great job. They were able to get out there and pick up some blocks, and then, I'm just trying to bob and weave and get in the end zone.
Defensively, the Saints remain on fire. They shored up their recent run game woes, allowing just 87 yards on 25 carries. They also held Jameis Winston to just 67 yards on 7 of 13 passes. They also sacked him twice. He didn't return in the second half. When Ryan Fitzpatrick took over, the Saints sacked him 2 more times. They also stifled what's considered one of the best set of skilled players in the NFL. Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, Cameron Brayton, O.J. Howard combined for just 5 catches. In fact, the only time Evans was ever in the spotlight came after a play, when Winston tapped Marshawn Lattimore on the back of the helmet. Lattimore responded by shoving Winston. Then Evans proceeded to blindside Lattimore with a vicious tackle. A brawl ensued. Evans was eventually penalized, but not ejected, which infuriated Sean Payton.
But I'm sure New York I know it went to New York to look at. And that, if there's not an ejection in that situation, then I don't know when there's supposed to be an ejection. So he was a little angry.
Did you think Mike was going to get ejected?
I really didn't care. I wanted him to play, so it don't matter.
Despite the 20-point win, mistakes were made. Will Lutz's first extra point was blocked, and he missed a 43-yard field goal. For the 3rd game in a row, the Saints lost the turnover battle. They also tried a funky throwback play on a kickoff return, where Hagen Jr. threw it across the field to Tommy Lee Lewis.
We're going to hide Tommy Lee in that little black ass. It's called Chameleon. And we didn't do a good enough job of managing the timeout there. It was a longer timeout, and so that was it. That was a dud.
Despite those blemishes, Sunday's performance was an impressive win over a division foe. And after 6 straight wins, it sure feels good to get back the mojo.
We're continuing to make strides in the right direction, but there's still a lot of things that we can do better. The road only gets tougher. You know, we go on the road to Buffalo this week. They're a very good football team. It's playing really well on both sides of the ball, so we've got our work cut out for us.
We are now joined by the voice of the Saints, Jim Henderson. And Jim, I don't know if it was the crowd, the victory, maybe a little bit of both, but today was the first day in a really long time. I'm talking maybe in the 5-0 starts 2013 that I really felt like the juice is back. The city's all in. The fans are all in. They've won 6 straight. I mean, and this place was something today.
I fully agree, and it cost the Buccaneers with a couple of taking too much time. They got penalized for that, and you could just see as I was coming in here now, a lot of the Saints coaches and players and families were leaving. High fives everywhere, smiles everywhere. Sean's into it. As you said, the fans are into it. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with a 6-game winning streak.
No doubt about that. As a matter of fact, I saw Sean Payton walk out here a little while ago. He was kind of bro-hugging his coaches, giving their wives kisses and hugs. It's certainly a good time, and obviously, look, they deserved it. They're 6-2. They're playing great football. A lot of different storylines in this one. I'm going to start, though, offensively with Alvin Kamara, who shakes off the early fumble with a big screen ball where he catches and runs into the end zone. When you think he's down, he braces himself up, has another touchdown. Look, we did an interview with him before the game, and I said afterwards, I said, you know, he just doesn't feel like a rookie to me. There's this veteran cool about him. He's in the moment, and it's not too big for him.
He's mature. He's mature in his thinking, the way he approaches the game. He's had a huge impact. I thought Drew kind of touched on it afterwards. The screen game has become a big factor for this team now. Mark's catching the ball so well on the flank. Alvin Kamara could probably play wide receiver in this league if you asked him to. And remember, after P.R. Thomas left, it was always, I mean, when I was with Hokie, he was always complaining about how bad the screen was. Well, the screen pass is back. Everything's back. The Saints defensively played great, and they shut down the running game. I think Tampa Bay actually benched Doug Martin. He was averaging less than a yard per carry, and the longest run they gave up after being gashed the last few weeks with a long run was a 15-yard scramble by Fitzpatrick.
Look, defensively, look, not only did they shut them down, they got in their head. And as you said, the crowd was into it. The pass rush was working. Okafor really had a great game. But Marshawn Lattimore continues to be a shutdown corner. Mike Evans is a top 5 receiver in the NFL. 1 catch, 13 yards, if I'm not mistaken, at least at the time of the big brawl. And you look, first off, Jameis Winston, what are you doing? That's an idiotic move from an immature player when you're supposed to be the franchise cornerstone. And then, you know, basically all hell breaks loose on the sideline. And look, Sean Payton was rightfully upset because the hit that Lattimore took from Evans on that play could have really hurt him, and it could have been a problem. So what's your take on the whole brawl that happened?
Well, I think you got it exactly right. I can't believe Jameis Winston came off the bench and really aggravated Marshawn Lattimore. And then while he's got his back to him, when he turns back, Evans decks him from behind. If this was hockey, they'd still be fighting right now. You know, it would have been a benches clearing, probably half the fans into it as well. It was just a punk move by Winston and an even more punk move by Evans.
At the end of the game, Sean Payton, that was a very quick handshake with Dirk Cutter, the head coach of Tampa Bay. Something tells me there may have been a little more behind that. But they get the win. They get to 6-2. You feel great, but then you look at the NFC South standings. Carolina 6-3. They beat Atlanta today. So winning is great, but you got to keep on winning here because Carolina's right at your heels.
Yeah, and only Tampa Bay is pretty much out of it at this point. You got 3 teams above 500. It's going to be a dogfight to the very end. Now you go up to Buffalo, which is kind of on their mini bye, having played Thursday. I think you're a little concerned about the injuries this team suffered. Vaccaro, Armstead, those are 2 really integral parts of your team. Hopefully they'll be back and ready to go to Buffalo.
How you feel about this team right now? I mean, I think we can finally maybe say this team is back. I mean, they're back.
I think it is too, and the talk up in the press box was, is this team for real? Is what we're seeing for real? I mean, based on what we've seen over the last 6 games, you'd have to think so. I love the complementary way that they're playing. I love their energy. I love their enthusiasm. I love their toughness. And it's going to be awaken the rest of the NFL, I think, that the New Orleans Saints are back.
There's no such thing as a fluky 6-game win streak in the NFL. I'm sorry. This is for real. They're 6-2, and now I think they're contenders. Jim, thank you, sir.
All right, Sean.
And, of course, we'll have Jim back on the program all day tomorrow, starting with his 8 a.m. Black and Gold Rewind, his commentary, award-winning at 5 p.m., and then at 10:35, the Black and Gold Review Show. Submit your questions now to the Final Word feature on the Final Play app. Much more Saints coverage to bring you on the Final Play, including Chris Hagen picking apart the most important drive of the game.
Watching the Final Play.
On Tuesdays, Sean Vazan always gives us one final look back at the previous game, pointing out 5 pivotal plays that determine the outcome. Today, Chris Hagen will show us one pivotal drive that was the key to the Saints winning today.
Through nearly 2 full quarters, the Saints didn't have much to show for their efforts on offense. Just 1 field goal and 1 promising drive that ended early with an Alvin Kamara fumble. But with less than 3 minutes to halftime came the drive that changed everything. A redemption drive for Kamara, if you will. It began at the Saints' own 7-yard line, their worst starting field position of the game, but the rookie running back quickly got them out of the hole with a 17-yard screen pass. A few plays later, they went back to Kamara again on 3rd down to pick up the first. But on the very next snap, a play that nearly derailed all of the building momentum. Drew Brees hangs on to the ball a bit too long and loses it on the Robert Ayers Jr. sack. However, it's recovered by center Max Unger, and all is okay because the next 2 plays set the tone for the rest of the contest.
You know, kind of the scramble play to Kobe, you know, and then the screen play to Kamara. I mean, those 2 huge plays that get us the touchdown.
It was huge. You know, I think we got a lot of momentum coming off that drive, a lot of energy. The sideline was hype.
As the team said after the game, that drive was the spark they needed to put the Bucs away for good.
To come out, you know, first drive of the second half, touchdown, defense gets a turnover, touchdown. I mean, that blows the whole thing wide open. So, you know, you're just able to grab momentum and run with it.
Just about every head coach would tell you that you can't take points into next week. But after shaky offensive showings in Green Bay and then last week against the Bears, you have to believe that the Saints take at least a little momentum from today's offensive outburst against the Bucs into Buffalo to face the Bills next week. Reporting in the Superdome, I'm Chris Hagen for the Final Play.
Up next, it wasn't the end result that LSU wanted against Alabama, but they exited Tuscaloosa knowing that they can compete with college football's best team. We'll take a look back when the Final Play continues.
You're watching the Final Play.
Up in Tuscaloosa last night, what was predicted to be a blowout was anything but. In fact, on the stat sheet, LSU beat the Crimson Tide, but it's at the most important position, quarterback, that Bama had the advantage, and it showed for the 2nd straight year. Here's Garland Gillen.
For a moment, it appeared LSU had a chance to make things interesting against Alabama. They only trailed by 11 in the 3rd quarter after this Darrell Williams score. But the purple and gold couldn't muster any more big plays on the night, falling to the undefeated Tide by 14.
You know, we came here to fight, and nobody likes losing, but you know what? You know, these guys believe the whole week. Proud of this football team. Got some good young men in there. And I'm hurting for them. I wish I could have made better decisions for them to help them win the game.
Vegas installed LSU as 21-point underdogs against Alabama. Fans just asked for a competitive game from the Tigers. Don't get embarrassed. Well, they didn't, but this isn't a moral victory kind of squad.
No, I don't. You know, here's the deal, man. We came here to beat Alabama, and but I know my guys' mindset in there, and we're coming.
We didn't win tonight. No, there was only one win that mattered, and it was on those scoreboards, and that's really all that matters.
If the Tigers want to finally overtake the Tide, they still need a reliable quarterback. Danny Etling just isn't that guy.
We kept on coming after him, you know, and we got to look at the film if the ball was on the throwing or not. I got a couple of them on the money, some on the throwing, but You know, if we could have connected on those, it would have been a different game. But you know what? Hey, you play a team that's 8-0, a team that's won championships. It can't be if. You just got to make those plays.
Is there any one throw that sticks with you the most out of the ones that you missed?
Just like 3 of them. They just stick with me, and that's that. And I'll watch the film, get better, and move on.
Miles Brennan entered the contest late, and many see the freshman as their heir apparent at quarterback. Coach O liked what he saw in limited duty.
I thought he looked good. Some situation, you know, obviously some pressure, but, you know, he made some good decisions. Miles is going to have a chance to be our quarterback. I don't know if he's going to be our quarterback next year, but he has to get some experience, and we just wanted to give him a shot there.
All right, I'm now joined by Andrew Lopez of NOLA.com, the Tom-Picayune. All right, the spread was 21 in Vegas, so LSU actually covered the spread. Some fans said, I just don't want LSU to embarrass themselves. Well, they didn't embarrass themselves, but they also didn't get a moral victory day either.
No, not at all. And Ogeron said he doesn't believe in moral victories, and you can see why. It's still a 14-point loss. Yeah, you lost to the top team in the country, according to most people, but this was a game that LSU could have. I don't know if they could have won it, but they were definitely should have been in this game a lot more than what they were. They left a lot of points out there on the field. Danny Etling couldn't connect with DJ Shark on a lot of deep balls, and I think over time that kind of started to get to him. This is an LSU team that outgained Alabama tonight and did things that they couldn't even think of doing last year. Last year they had 125 yards. This game over 300. For me, I think there's no moral victories, but there's stuff you can build on. Obviously, Ogeron saying we're coming at the end. I think you can build on this game.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. He kept saying we're coming, we're coming. What else do they have to play for this year? I guess a 10-win season if they win out and get a bowl game. Because I know those fans are going to be like asking, hey, you put in Miles Brennan at the end, but what do they have left to play for in this season?
It's a 10-win season. It's something that hasn't been done in a few years around here. And for them to get the 10-win season would be big to me. Obviously, they can win out and then win their bowl. They finished the year 10-3. They can still get to a decent bowl game. This is about playing. You don't want to say play for next year because obviously when you get to that, that's when you start talking about do you play Miles Brennan more? Do you play Lowell Narcisse at all? Do you keep his red shirt? How much do you play Danny Etling at this point going forward? I still think Danny Etling should be the quarterback going forward. I still think he gives them the best chance to win and to get that 10-win season. But there are things you can play for. But that we coming is definitely for next year, and it's building on next year. And that's, hey, look, this is what we did with a team that lost to Troy earlier this year. We were able to stay in this game with Alabama. So I think he's talking about the future right now.
All right, the last time LSU won, beating Alabama that is, was right here in Bryant-Denny Stadium in the game of the century, the 9-6 win. When will we see LSU beat Alabama again? Are we talking years? Are we talking next year? Like, when is this going to happen? What has to happen? Because Jalen Hurts has probably got 2 more years left here at Alabama.
If you had a Jalen Hurts type quarterback on your side, you're probably talking about a victory tonight on some of those deep throws. I think it could happen next year in Tiger Stadium. I think there's a lot to be said about that, but if not, I mean, I don't know if you can come back here and beat Jalen Hurts in his senior year at Tuscaloosa. So it could be a while, but you have to do something to snap that 7-game losing streak. Ogeron has said it time and time again. This is the game you're supposed to win if you're LSU's head coach. And if he can't win it, they'll find somebody else to do it for him.
Coach Ogeron, did he get some momentum with this loss? I know they said no moral victories, but did they have momentum going forward, going into recruiting season? You held Jalen Hurts pretty much in check in this game. LSU actually outgained Alabama tonight on offense.
I think there is a little bit of momentum to be had. There's no moral victories, but there is some momentum, and this is a team that did take a step forward in terms of showing on a national level, hey, we're not going to be a pushover there. Like you said, They cover the spread. I know the players don't want to talk about that. Oz doesn't want to talk about that. But they cover the spread, and they come in here, and they were competitive. They put up 300 yards on them. They rushed for more yards than anybody has rushed for against Alabama all year long. There were positives to take, and I think if you don't get a letdown next week against Arkansas, then you can start to kind of use this game as a building block.
Andrew Lopez, NOLA.com, the Tom-Picayune. Thanks, Andrew.
No problem.
Meanwhile, Tulane's chances of getting to a bowl game slowly slipping away. Saturday's loss to Cincinnati was tough and avoidable. The Greenies had a chance to take the lead late through Merrick Glover, who'd already made field goals of 37 and 19 yards, but Glover couldn't connect on this one to give the Wade the lead late. The loss dropped Tulane's record to 3-6, and with 3 games left on the schedule, they have to win out to become bowl eligible.
It's disappointing. I told the guys it's very disappointing. We've had our share of adversity this year, and you know, 2 choices: quit or start pushing and you know, preparing as well as you can and playing as well as you can. That's our option. That's our choice. That's what we're going to do.
Down in the Bayou, all Nicholls State football continues to do is win, 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 no matter what. This time, Houston Baptist is the victim, but it took a last-place scoring strike from Chase Forcade to Dejon Dixon. Rummel to Edna Carr for 44 yards to win the game. 23-17 was the final, and the Colonels are now 7-2 after their 5th straight win. Congrats to them. On the scoreboard, Southeastern struggled on the road at McNeese State, losing to the Cowboys 13-3. No problems for the Southern Jaguars. They won a shootout against Prairie View, 37-31. And they're happy in Lafayette today as well after Saturday's 19-14 win over Texas State. Coming up, prep football's regular season is over. Bring on the playoffs. But before we turn the page, we'll have our Play of the Week and Player of the Week nominees. And we'll get you ready for another week of Pelicans basketball when we come back.
You're watching The Final Play.
Our catch of the week made us think about an oldie but a goodie from the past. Drew Brees' deep ball to Ted Ginn Jr. It's a 36-yard catch and score for number 19, which is significant because the Saints honored another number 19 today during the game, in Devery Henderson. He was the team captain during the team's coin toss. And our high school play of the week takes us back to the De La Salle game Thursday night, and this punishing run by Julian Gums. Looks like he goes down, but he stays up and crushes defenders en route to a 56-yard gain. The Cavaliers finished the season undefeated, heading into Division II playoffs as the #1 seed. And here are our Player of the Week nominees. Landry Walker, running back Chad Alexander, a beast, 274 yards rushing and 2 scores. De La Salle quarterback Julian Gums accounting for 357 yards of total offense. He threw 4 touchdown passes. And Country Day quarterback Justin Ibieta threw 4 touchdown passes as well, rushed for 2 more. Voting begins Monday on fox8live.com/player. The playoffs will kick off next week, and we've got a bunch of local teams carrying high seeds into the postseason. In the 5A, Covington's a 2 seed. In 4A, Carr's #1, Lakeshore #2, Easton, they're in at #4. In Class 3A, St. James, they're a 4 seed. A Meets a 3 seed in 2A, and in 1A, West St. John, they are the top seed. And not to be forgotten, Curtis, they're a 2 seed in Division I. De La Salle and St. Charles Catholic are 1 and 3, respectively, in Division II. And the undefeated Newman Greenies, they're a 2 seed in Division III. The Pelicans road trip will continue Tuesday night in Indiana. The Pels have gotten their record back to 500 at 5-5, and after back-to-back wins in Dallas and Chicago. A win against the Pacers on Tuesday would give the Pelicans their first winning record ever under Alvin Gentry. We'll see if it happens. That's our show for tonight. For all of us here at Fox 8, I'm Juan Kincaid. We hope you'll join us again next Sunday night for the Final Play.
From Fox 8 Sports, this has been The Final Play.